Welcome to episode 3 of the Fringe Pod.
Yeah. I'm one half of your host, the Octave Doctor himself, Sai.
And the second half, the Gentle Giant, aka Walter. Or no, it's supposed to be the other way around.
No, whatever. It's the same thing.
Yeah, same difference.
Yeah. And I make sure you like, subscribe, and comment your opinions, share your opinions, tell us what you... Give us topics to talk about, all that stuff. I guess we'll say that at the end. But anyway, like, share, subscribe. Today our topic is spirit.
Yeah, spirits. Let's see. Spirits, spirituality. I guess where we want to start is maybe with the dictionary definition of spirits. How do you feel about that?
Go ahead.
Well, let's start with our definitions. What's your definition of a spirit?
My definition of spirit, I don't know. I have a bunch of definitions. It depends like what context you're using it in. I guess one definition would be that which is non-material.
Mm-hmm.
And another definition would be, well, I would say, okay, well, not just not non-material, but rather, I mean, one definition could be that which is non-material. Another one is that which is conscious, like sentient beings.
Mm-hmm.
And another definition would be, the qualitative aspect of life, like when you say, I need spirituality in my life. So what you need is to like feed the spirit in a sense, the qualitative value, yeah, something like that.
The qualitative value of life
Aspect, because there's the physical, like I feel my body, but do I value it? That would be like, that's the qualitative aspect, like I feel depressed, I feel happy. These are qualitative aspects that are not physical, in the same way that like a piano, here's a piano, Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
I don't know. I guess I usually hear the word like in a engineering, like like it relates more to like measuring something, like, and that what you're talking about is like unmeasurable. Like I can't measure your sadness, if you get what I mean. Or
yeah, exactly. That's why I'm saying qualitative as opposed to quantitative.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, as in like, yeah, as opposed to quantitative. Because I think the reason I use like that kind of broad definition,
measured by, yeah, okay, I get what you mean. So it's like, yeah, I get what you can't quantify it, like I said, like you can't, but it's still like a feeling, it's still some. But are you saying that your spirit experiences these qualitative aspects of life, or are they themselves spirit?
They are spiritual.
They are, yeah, okay, they're spiritual in the way we experience them. So like I would say, for example, because I believe that spirits are spirits, like you said, they're the conscious aspect and the qualitative. I agree with that. That your soul, for example, is a spirit in you. A soul is a type of spirit, and without it, we don't experience, like you said, these qualitative aspects like sadness or happiness or
even redness, whatever, like
jealousy.
Yeah,
I don't know. What do you mean by redness? Just like the concept of redness, or the color redness?
You can't see redness unless you're a conscious being.
Yeah, I get what you mean. What you mean.
So that's also a quality. Even shape, like nobody can experience shape unless there's a quality to it.
Yeah, I agree. There is I don't know, because I feel like, I don't know. For me, conscious is okay, we'll also get into the definition of consciousness. Let's first get into the definition of spirit.
Wait,
So,
let me just say, I just want to say one last thing. The reason I sometimes use this very broad definition is because there's this idea, okay, well, what is spirituality, you know?
yeah.
Because you have like, okay, you can say Islam is spirituality, but so is Christianity, so is Buddhism, but then so is like just meditating, you know, like people.
No, for me, for me, the religions are exploring spirituality.
Yeah.
They're not spirituality themselves.
Yeah.
So
you get what that's I mean? The reason like I use.
Yeah.
Sorry. I just want to just gonna finish my sentence. Like the reason I use that big that like inclusive definition is just to say spirituality is that which deals with the spiritual side of life, you know, like value, the emotions,
I'd categorize it as the unseen. I don't know.
Sure, yeah. The thing that you can't you know, like when you're hungry, you eat food and then you're full, right? And then your body is healthy because you ate. But then you also sometimes you're sad and you need to listen to some piano solo or something. I don't know. Like that's a spiritual activity because it's soul food, you could say. It's dealing with the spiritual aspect of life. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Like I get like there's also spiritual in the sense of you know, like talking to demons or whatever. But there's also just like listening to piano, you know, playing piano. That's a spiritual activity to me because it's soul food. I don't know how else to describe it. Sorry.
No, I get what you mean because it's an interaction with that aspect that we just put in our definition, right? It's an interaction. The music interacts with that that qualitative aspect that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for me, there's still like there's a division, or there's the soul, there's the self. For me, the soul isn't the self.
The soul and the self?
Yeah, are separate.
Okay, in what sense?
We'll get into that.
No, I mean we're here. Just like we're there already.
If we're here, yeah, in that sense that the self is the ego. It's driven emotion. You know, like it's something also that you can train. It's like this spurs of jealousy. Like jealousy is not something that it's, or let's say these negative emotions, they can also be positive. I'm not sure, but let's just say these emotions that are exposed onto you. You know what I mean? Like something happens.
Yeah. And
your body just triggers this. For me, this is not the soul. This is part of the self. And the soul, maybe the soul has to do with the self. Like without a soul, you don't have a self. But the self is a layer on top of the soul for me.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I do believe that there's two aspects to a human being. I mean, I don't use the terms that you use. And I'm not sure. The thing is, like, there's so many different terms, different traditions use different terms. It's hard to know which is which. But I definitely, you know, through meditation, I see that there's a me that is just like witnessing, and you could say a me that is automatic. Like I just call it the brain. It's just like suddenly I feel sad. Suddenly I feel angry. Suddenly I feel happy. Suddenly I want to like think about something that I haven't thought about in 5 years. And it's like, what the hell where is this coming from? You know?
Yeah.
And then it's like, so to me, it's like, okay, there's this one side of me that is automatic, that is not within my control. Or I wouldn't say not within my control. It's just not me. It's obviously not me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But somehow also you can, it's trainable. Like for example, this part that you speak of, right? Like when you were younger, you didn't have it as much in control as maybe you do now. You know what I mean? Like you can somehow speak to that part and kind of like, you know, like let's say you were a kid and your parent didn't buy you the toy, and you were in a shopping mall and whatever, and you threw a fit because like I said, this self kind of thing that's not really part of the soul, in my opinion. But yeah, we can get into, I don't know, I guess proofs for it. I don't know. Can you even prove such a thing? I don't think so. But anyways, this part of you notice that the older you get, the more you can be like, okay, maybe my parents didn't have the means to buy me whatever I wanted, or you know what I mean? Like there's a way to kind of like talk to yourself and like kind of like, I don't know,
change it,
change it, yeah, or not change it, because the emotion is still there, but control the emotion in a way.
Yeah,
I feel like,
sorry,
I've always said that's like our animal part, like not that I think that we are we are animals, but in a sense that this is how animals operate, like animals just operate on that emotion. That's what I've always believed. Like they're this layer that, oh, okay, I'm hungry, I react on that. Oh, okay, I'm horny because it's mating season, I react on that, or whatever. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
like, we human beings, we have this filter that we develop over time, and we can be like, okay, no, I'm in public, I shouldn't do like that, or this is happening, I shouldn't throw a fit. This and this could be the explanation. You get what I mean? Or
yeah, I mean, to me, it is the animal part. It's just that part that is like very. It has intelligence, but it's not. It's kind of automatic. It feels automatic, at least.
Yeah, it feels automatic. Yeah,
but it has intelligence. Yeah. Like it's not like some stupid shit. Yeah, it does.
No. I agree.
Yeah. So sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
Obviously. Yeah. No, me, I say it's and that's what I was saying. Like this part, for me, it's also it's spiritual, because it can't be seated in the brain. From you mentioned that, or for you it's brain. For me, it can't be brain, because it's like it's affecting me in a non-physical, I don't know, in a non-physical sense, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like very spiritual for me. I feel like it affects your spirits, because it's mostly those things or those motivators within you that drive you towards sin, for example. You know what I mean?
Sorry, I guess it's just because I'm not, I'm very non-physicalist or non-materialist. That to me, the brain isn't even a physical entity. Like, I don't believe there's such a thing. Yeah.
Okay, then now you make more sense. Yeah. I was like, what? Because you said brain. I was like, huh? What?
It's the brain, but
okay.
The brain is like a collection of, you could call them like mini entities that are themselves like processing information, and like they're not human beings, but they're like, they themselves can process information. And just like a cell can process information, it can react to its environment, but on a very primitive level. And in my view, like if you keep like, there's no reason we should stop at cells and say, well, cells can communicate with the environment, but then once you go lower than that, somehow some magic happens where life just suddenly becomes non-living. Like I just don't see how that's possible. To me, like the whole thing is just alive. It's just a matter of like so from top to bottom, it's all information processing, even at the level of, you want to call them electrons, protons, whatever. The whole thing is information processing. So the brain is also information processing. It's not a physical entity. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense.
Kind of makes sense, but I don't know. Maybe I'm not. Maybe we can get deeper into that. But for me, it's like, okay, there's like, maybe, okay, what if I get all the materials that make your brain? You still won't have a brain. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
I don't know. I feel like you were saying that, for you, it's all entities working together to become a bigger entity, or like in what sense?
No. I mean, the brain is just like, it's just a word. It's not just a word. It's like, it's it's what we
You're not a nominalist, I forget.
I'm not a nominalist, but
Yeah.
it's something, but it's not a single entity.
Mhm.
It's a collection of entities that are communicating with each
entity? What do you mean by entity?
other. Whatever they are. I mean, I don't know how to describe them other than entity. They're tiny beings that, obviously I don't know if this is true or not, but like, if I had to like say like, okay, let me put it this way. I don't think there's a physical world. Okay, I think physical is just the term we use to describe this specific set of information that we're receiving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what is the brain? Well, I don't know, but it's something that's, you could say, computed. And if there are entities like protons and electrons and whatever, they're all mini, you could call them souls, but they're not like souls. Like, I guess this is your distinction between self and soul. Like, they're just like automated entities that just, they get information and they react. They get information and react. That's it. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah.
But then they don't have a will in that sense.
They don't have a will in that sense, yeah.
But they come together and make you who has a will?
No. I'm a separate entity that is experiencing this this whole network. I'm part of the network, but I'm not the brain or whatever, you know? Like, I'm a separate soul who does have will. That's what separates me from them. For some reason, they don't have will, but I do. I don't know why, but...
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but they don't have will. Okay. A rock has soul?
As a rock, no.
Okay.
But it's made up of a bunch of entities that are communicating with each other, just automated. It's all automated. It's not like these entities are aware that they're doing anything. They're just like, it's like a computer processor. They're just processing information and reacting to it. That's it.
Okay. I guess, okay. I understand the difference now. You posit that the information is happening outside and it's being processed outside, and your brain is just witnessing these processes.
It's very tough. Honestly.
No, because for me, it's the opposite. For me, it's we are processing information, also not our brain is, and our soul and ourself, all this, the combination of the seen and unseen processes information that's around us. But this information, what we're in, is not real in this sense, because like I explained last time, there are certain criteria that doesn't meet if this was base reality or real reality.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think there is, in a sense, I do think that, I wouldn't call it an illusion, but it's just like we're experiencing something, but like, that's why I'm not sure if what I said was true, but I do think that there's a brain, but it's not out there. Like, I don't believe that there is an out there. Does that make sense?
Out there in which sense? In this experience that we're having now?
There's no
out there, outside of this experience.
There's no outside of
this.
There's no inside and outside. I mean, there's just the appearance of inside and outside, but really it's all just experience. Like, experience is all there is. That's what I believe. I believe that there's only experience, and so outside of experience is not a real thing.
Outside of experience is not a real thing.
Because outside of experience assumes that there's
the illusion of having an experience now.
Huh?
But you are having an illusion of having an experience.
No, it's not an illusion. I am experiencing.
What?
I'm experiencing, I don't know. A world.
What are you experiencing?
A world. The world is in experience. It's not outside of
The
experience.
world is in experience.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not outside of experience.
You, Psy, are swimming in experience, and there's only experience. Like, let's say experience was an ocean.
Yeah.
You're in it.
I'm experiencing. You're experiencing.
Yeah, I'm in the ocean with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, my question is, you're saying this ocean of experience is an illusion.
No. I'm saying experience is real. It's the only thing that's real.
Yes. Okay. Now, outside of this illusion, is there also reality?
There is
still
no
experience.
outside.
What?
It's not an illusion. It is. We're experiencing. We're really experiencing.
We're really experiencing reality?
But what the illusion is that what we're experiencing is really outside of us.
What? Damn.
Experience is the only thing that's real.
I need to digest this.
Experience is real.
We need to talk about experience. We need to make an episode on experience. By the way, because I feel like now I'm like completely lost. But
I don't blame you.
I feel like it's too much now. I just need to recuperate. Maybe I need to listen to this episode.
Let me explain. Okay, there is just experience.
Okay.
There is only experience.
Okay.
What I'm experiencing is real. I'm really experiencing everything that I'm experiencing. It's not an illusion in the sense that I am experiencing it. It's only an illusion when I think that it's outside. There is this thing outside. Outside is an illusion. Everything is inside experience. Space, time, reality, the world, it all exists inside experience.
I disagree.
Why do you disagree?
Because you said space, time.
Yeah, all of it exists in experience. Nothing exists outside of experience. And ultimately, God is the ultimate experience.
And now
there's no space and time outside of God.
There is no space and time outside of God.
Yeah.
I believe God created space and time.
No, I believe that space and time, I mean, yeah, in a way you could say God created space and time. The particular space and time that we see.
There is a world where time doesn't exist.
Our time.
Any time. Because space and time have to exist. There is a world where space doesn't exist.
Yeah, because space and time are features of experience.
Exactly. And that's my point, that then the experience can't be endless. Or you swim in experience, or it can't be the only real thing, because, yeah, space and time, experience is bound by space and time.
Our experience is bound by space and time.
Okay.
Because we are limited beings.
Okay.
But there is no space and time limiting us. It's not that space and time are things outside that are limiting us. They are limited. We are limited because the system, God, whatever you want to call it, is limiting our experience to space and time.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
But that's why there needs to be an outside.
The outside is God.
Not just God. It can be whatever. It can be whatever. It doesn't need to be God.
Here's my question: like, if you believe that that this is a simulation, then what is outside?
What is outside of this simulation?
Yeah.
I don't know. God is definitely outside of this simulation, but God is not the only thing. He can create whatever he wants that's outside of this simulation.
Yeah, okay.
He can create another simulation running.
But that other simulation is also experienced.
Yeah, by those people, yeah.
Yeah, but only in their experience, doesn't it? It doesn't exist outside of experience. Every simulation exists within some experience.
There is somebody experiencing the simulation, but there is an outside. That's my point. You were saying there is no
Like
outside.
if all experiences were removed, would they still exist?
Yeah. Yes. You're saying like would there still be an experiencing happening? Like is experiencing, the concept of experiencing still happening?
No, I'm saying you remove all sentient beings. Does anything remain?
Yeah, but you can't remove God.
That's my point.
And metaphysically, I'm saying.
No, that's my point. My point is that ultimately, everything only exists in some experience.
So you're saying we only exist because God is experiencing.
God is the ultimate experience, ultimately. And so everything exists in God's experience. And so you can say that there's space and time because, in a sense, yes, okay, there's space and time, but not really. And they're not outside because they're inside God.
Nah, astaghfirullah, don't say such things.
What?
I said astaghfirullah, don't say such things.
I don't know. I mean, that's to me how.
No, I know, but that's against my beliefs. But no, you can no problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to me,
I'm just going to shoot out the definition of experience real quick.
Yeah, to me, there's no, like, I'm not saying that. It's very hard for me to explain my position because it requires a lot of explanation.
Yeah, but for me, experience doesn't happen in something. That's just my experience.
Experience doesn't happen what?
In something. But that's just my experience.
I don't know what you mean, like by in something.
It takes, like the saying, oh, if the tree fell in the forest and nobody heard it, did it make a sound? Yeah. You know the saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And for me, that's like the same thing. Like if nobody is experiencing something, then there is no experience, yani. Like,
there's no
experience is not something that's. There needs to be a self or an ego or a thing or a consciousness experiencing for there to be experience. But let me just put out the definition of experience. So, definition of experience according to Oxford: practical contact with and observation of facts or events. And then the second one is an event or occurrence which leaves an impression on someone. The verb encounter or undergo an event or occurrence. So something needs to be happening for there to be an experience, and somebody needs to see or witness it, the event or the observation or the fact, for the experience to happen.
Yeah, something is happening in experience. In someone's experience, something is happening. If you remove experiencers, there's nothing left.
Yes, there's nothing left. I agree. Yeah. If nobody's experiencing anything, nothing remains. Nothing left. Yeah, I agree. Because nothing is happening, because nobody is observing. Yeah, that's the forest thing sound thingy reference.
Yeah,
but cool. That was a bit of a divergence.
Yeah.
But cool shit. Let's get to the definition of spirits now.
Yeah,
I guess since I have the trusted Oxford open.
I just have to say, like, probably if anyone's listening, like, they probably think I'm crazy now or something.
Of course not. No.
It's just that,
it's an interesting idea. Yeah, but everybody should believe what they want. That's the most important thing. Like free the fringe, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, like, it takes a lot of explanation to explain my viewpoint, and I think I didn't do it justice just then.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna leave it there. And whatever, we'll get to it in other episodes. For now, let's get back to spirits.
For sure. We can get back to spirits, but I want to say, I also mentioned before, we could do a whole episode on experience, and for sure, because it's really interesting, by the way, right? Because now, me too, I've started thinking about other things. Like it's taken me in a whole kind of how do you call it? different direction, because I was like, I never thought about it in that way, must say. So interesting.
Yeah, we will do an episode about that.
We can.
We'll do an episode where we'll talk about like. Anyways, keep going. Yeah.
so spirit. So we both gave obviously our definitions. I said it's something like the soul in our case, but it's also, and we have very similar definitions. So Oxford says the non-physical part of a person, which is the seat of emotions and character, the soul. So
the non-physical part of a person, which is the seat of emotion and character.
Okay. Yes, and then semicolon the soul.
So that makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah. Spirit, huh? I took the definition of spirit. I'm also gonna bring the definition of spirits in a second. And then there's also a verb. Yeah, okay, no, that's not important. So now spirits. The non-physical part of a person manifested as an apparition. Okay, so a ghost. A supernatural being.
Supernatural being.
Can also mean a supernatural being. Also spirits, with the S. And then what else do we have? A strong distilled alcoholic drink.
Yes, that is a spirit.
Yeah. So yeah, crazy.
I mean, to be completely honest, these strong alcoholic drinks are killers of spirit, if I'm gonna be honest. Like,
or induces of spirits.
no, I mean, to me, they're the opposite of spirituality. But that's just my experience.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean. They they bring out this is what I was saying, right? About the self. They bring out that part again more.
Yeah.
And they remove that control that you've put on it, And that's what I was trying to tell you. Like this part, this self, somehow it's kind of like it's an emotion that's leading you towards sin in my case, you know what I mean? Like it's leading you to like jealousy, which is not good, or you know what I mean, or like it's leading you to lust, or like, oh, I want to fight, leading you to like aggression and anger and violence, or wrath.
Yeah.
And this is that self part, kind of, I don't know, like separate from the soul, kind of emotional part that I was talking about. And then, like you said, yeah, alcohol brings that part out of people.
Yeah, and most human beings operate on that level, and I won't lie. Like I find myself really struggling with that part of me,
Yeah.
I'd always, like my brain always wants to argue anything, like over anything, like the stupidest things. I always want to argue. I don't know why. Like there's a reason, like those YouTube videos and Facebook posts and Twitter posts, there's a reason they get a lot of likes, like all that clickbait stuff. It works.
Yeah, it works. Yeah.
Because people are looking for
emotional,
that.
Or
yeah. Including me.
Kind of like, but
that's how I fall into rabbit holes.
Why comments are like why are comments so entertaining? Like, it's because of that quality in human beings, right? And it's like, kind of like, if you see, social media kind of like brings also that part of the human out sometimes, like, oh, let me be promiscuous so I get more likes, and kind of like, you know what I mean? Like in an indirect way, also not bringing out the best emotions out of us, But obviously it's also an open stage. There's also a debate arena and all that stuff, which are positives. I guess everything has positives and negatives. But I wanted to touch on other parts of spirit, on the supernatural part of spirits.
The what?
The supernatural parts of spirits.
Supernatural. Yeah, that's the interesting part.
Yeah. So what would you? I mean, me obviously from a religious standpoint, so I believe in many different types of spirits because we classify spirit as the unseen. You know, like
Yeah.
we said, the angels, the jinn, the what else? What else are some of the things people classify as unseen? Banshees and
I mean, I don't know. Just you can go to different, different traditions. You have gods, goddesses. You have angels. You have demons. You have daimons. You have genies. You have all kinds of stuff happening.
yeah.
Buddhas and bodhisattvas and
Bodhisattvas.
yeah.
That word sounds so cool. Yeah.
But that's the thing for me. I'm not sure what to think of those entities just because there's so many different. I do believe that there's something there and just not. I guess I have a different view on it. Just because there's so much variety. Like, are they bodhisattvas? Are they Buddhas? Are they demons? Are they angels? What are they? Like, there's so much variety that I think personally that we are that what we're seeing is not what we think it is. Like, it's whatever's appearing to us is only taking forms that we are familiar with rather than them actually being that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You mean like this things that happen? You mean like they're adjusting themselves to the form that we are giving them? Kind of like, oh, there's this really fringe idea. I forgot. Oh shit, what is it called? Basically, the idea was, shout out in the comments if you know the name of this concept, or maybe you do. The idea is that we collectively as human beings, like, because we believe in something, that thing exists. Like, it manifests from all of our belief. Basically, it's a belief, our belief manifest. Have you heard of that before?
Yeah. And I think something like that is what's happening, but not in the sense that we are creating these beings.
Mm-hmm.
We're not creating them.
They're just taking that form.
They're taking that form, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you would say in your worldview, angels and demons could be the same thing. Like, do these things have will? Are some good, some bad? Like, what's your worldview on that?
I am. The jury's out on that one. I don't know. Like, I don't know if they have will, or if they are energies, just like energies that take forms.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I guess you could. Yeah. I don't know. I guess, yeah, this shows like our worldviews are very different anyways, but
yeah,
for me, it's, it's the traditional Islamic belief. Everything is in the unseen. We can't say 100% what it is. We know that God creates. There's some stuff that maybe we don't know about. But the jinn also have a lot of different powers and different attributes, and in the Quran you can see some of them. You know what I mean? Like, okay, there's ones that teleports, there are ones that fly, there are ones that specialize in something else, and you see it. Some are strong, some are weaker, some are knowledgeable, some are Muslim, some are Christian, because they have free will as well. They have their own society, and they're in a place where we can't see them, but they can see us.
I mean,
so for me, that's like a multi-dimensional being. But yeah, that's just from my belief.
I mean, I'm sure there are beings. Like, it's not like I think the only beings that exist are here on Earth. I'm sure there are other worlds.
Yeah.
But I think the phenomena that most people experience, I don't think it has to do with these multidimensional beings. Just because, and the reason I think that's because I've read a lot about magic, magic with a K, you know, not with a C, with a K, with a CK, whatever. Okay.
You want to tell our audience real quick what the difference is?
Yeah, magic with a C is, you know, like David Blaine, you know, Houdini. I'm gonna disappear now, and then you know he goes under a chair or something, and you know, I'm not here.
Optical illusion, or
yeah. Magic with a K is like, you know, trying to use powers or trying to use your will to make changes in the universe or whatever through means that are, you know, supernatural, let's say. Yeah. Okay. So when you read about magic, what you quickly find out is that the Chinese do magic, Indians do magic, Muslims do magic, Christians do magic, Native Americans do magic. Everybody does magic, right? But they don't talk to the same entities. They don't, like, they all have different entities. They all have different systems, different beliefs, and yet they all do the same. They all do magic. And so for me, it's like maybe there's something there that we're using, but whatever that thing is not really those forms that we give them. It's almost like if you believe that you will see jinn, then you will get jinn. But it's not really jinn. It's not something you're not creating it. But because you believe that that's what they're going to be, that's what they'll appear.
This form.
Huh?
Yeah. It takes that form.
Yeah. Whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's why it's like, oh, well, why don't all religions...
do these things live outside of you and have their own consciousness, or are these things within that you are describing?
Are those things what?
Do those things that you are describing, I mean, in the concept that you are describing now, right?
Yeah.
You said it's not really that jinn or ghost or banshees or whatever you said the Indian name is, they do exist, but in that sense that they take on the form of that specific environment they're in. So yeah, like you said, maybe for an Arab it will be a jinn, for a Muslim, or maybe for a So my question is, are these things still external to you and have their own consciousness and their own spirit? Are they, I guess, are they autonomous? Do they have a will? Are they spirits?
I don't know. Like that's the thing. My
or are they?
For me, the jury is out, because I don't know. I've never done that stuff, magic and stuff, so I can't really say. But I'm sure some of them are, but I would think that most of them aren't. I'm sure you can conjure up interdimensional beings or something, but I think most of what's happening is just, it's something that we don't understand yet, but it's real. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm just saying that whatever this thing is, it's taking on forms. It's like when you meditate, it's like, okay.
But are you saying now it's one thing that's shared between everyone?
Yeah.
Or it's just...
Yeah.
So all is the same entity?
It maybe. You know why? Here's what I think, okay?
Okay.
So you have like Buddhists meditating, and then you have Indians meditating. You also have Christians who meditate. You have Muslims who meditate. And the Buddhists, what do they experience in meditation? They see beings, you know, like they actually get to communicate with beings. Who are these beings? Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And then you go to the Hindus, and who do they see? They see Shiva and Vishnu and whatever. You go to the Christians, who do they see? They see Mary and Jesus, and you know what I mean? Whatever this thing is, it talks to us in the language that we understand.
Is it good or bad?
It depends on how you treat it.
No, but does it want good for you, or does
It wants
want
good
bad
for you. But whether you will take it as good or bad is on you. Like, you could be a Buddhist and you could experience a bodhisattva, and the bodhisattva will tell you, look, this is what you need to do. And if you do it, you will become happier, you will become a better person, all that stuff. It's not really a bodhisattva. It's just someone taking on the form of a form that you understand. What do you understand? You understand bodhisattvas. And so you see a bodhisattva and he speaks to you and he tells you, but it's not really a bodhisattva. Like, it's not. And the reason I'm saying this is because there's all these different, like, why isn't it that, why don't Christians experience bodhisattvas and Buddhists experience Jesus? You know, like, why do Christians experience Jesus and Buddhists experience bodhisattvas? And then you have someone like Ibn Arabi. Ibn Arabi experiences, prophets, and like, everyone experiences exactly what they believe. And so, like, an atheist could very easily come in and say, hey, look, obviously they're making the whole thing up. Like, it's all just the brain playing tricks on us.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, but because it is also like you said, it's part of the spirit unseen realm, where you can't quantify it. So, yeah.
I think because I've had experiences, because I meditate, and I'm very into Jungian stuff, Carl Jung. So I've had experiences.
Deep. Yeah.
And
tell us about some of these experiences deep.
What I'll say is this, right? I think that there's an entity. Honestly, if you want you want me to say the full what I really think is happening?
The fringe's truth.
Look, I think we have a self, right? This is why I was confused when you said self, because my version of the self is very different from your version of the self.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so I believe that when you go to the deepest depths of your heart, every human being, there lies what Carl Jung called the self, which comes from the Indians. Indians call it the self, basically God. So if you go down to the deepest depths of your unconscious, there is God, and you can communicate with God, and God will communicate with you using the forms that you understand, using the language that you understand, because obviously God is beyond language. So he takes on a form, he takes on a language that you understand, and he talks to you in that language. If you understand bodhisattvas, he'll talk to you as a bodhisattva. If you understand Shiva, he'll talk to you as Shiva. If you understand Jesus, he'll appear to you as Jesus.
This part, the Christians, I guess they'll call it the Holy Spirit or whatever.
Yeah, maybe the Christians will call it the Holy Spirit. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they'll, if they see Mary, it's Mary. If they see Gabriel, oh, that was Gabriel. I saw Gabriel in a vision. It's not that I think that you can't have. I think you can have visions, you can have dreams, you can have all these kind of things. It's not that I think that there are no beings that are communicating. Maybe there are beings communicating with us. It's just that they're so different from culture to culture that I feel like we need some kind of explanation that can bring them all together somehow. Like, why are they so different?
What you mean? Like, it brings it more close together. It unifies the reason. But I agree with you. But in my point of view, it's more because I don't believe we have God in us, obviously, from my religious perspective. But because there's a lot of problems, If I sin, does that mean God's sinning? All this type of stuff, and I guess
Why?
it's because
Why
I
if
have
you
this
sin?
more.
How does that make
Yeah,
it?
because if God is in me and I am somehow part, God is in me somehow, I don't know, then when I sin, somehow indirectly. Do you understand what I mean? It's not that. Anyways, that's not the main point.
Yeah.
I would say, for me, my theory has always been like, okay, obviously influenced and biased because of my religious perspective, that yeah, that there is this thing in oneself, like you can tap into like knowledge, or like in these realms kind of things. Like I feel like that's, yes, like there are things that are outside of us, like knowledge and all these concepts, they live outside of us and we can kind of like tap into them. So I agree with that. Like, but I always said these people, they believe different things, because if you're being misguided, khalas, yani, then you take, I guess it appears to you, like you said, something that appeals to you, something that appeals to your point of view. But that's just my opinion because of my religious
What
background.
exactly is your opinion? I didn't catch it.
I say that these things, they appear to some people also to misguide them. Yani. Obviously, they can help them. Like there's been cases, oh, this and this is being stolen, or hey, your son somehow is drowning in the river, and a person got a feeling like, oh shit, I need to run to the river and go and save my child. You know what I mean? Like these type of weird stories that we always hear, that are also like in this unseen realm, I guess, and kind of like spirit things. So I believe there is good, but I also believe there's bad. There's stuff that's guiding. There are interactions that I can't even say, because God knows best at the end of the day. Like maybe he's guiding someone in this way to the right path. You know what I mean? Like this person is maybe on monotheism and everything, but this is his journey. You know what I mean? It's like, you can't really say, you know, at the end of the day.
I do believe there's
in my
bad.
opinion, I believe in spirits.
Yeah, I do believe there's bad and good.
Mm-hmm.
Whether the bad is just like energies, that's the thing, like, because I don't know if you've ever tried active imagination. Okay.
Yeah.
This Carl Jung technique called active imagination. When you close your eyes and you just like focus your energy, all your energy on this really negative emotion, it appears as it will appear as a demon.
Okay, so like let's say you focus on, you close your eyes, you're in the dark, you focus on, let's say, jealousy.
Yeah, it will appear as a demon, and it will start talking as a demon.
Okay. In your meditation, obviously, this is like step by step. Yeah.
No, it's not step by step. It just appears. You close your eyes. If you really focus on that emotion, and you allow it to just take form, it will take form. It will become a demon. It will talk to you.
Oh, that's crazy.
But the thing is, like,
not that's, I mean, like crazy in the good sense.
Yeah, I think like, I don't think. I mean, I don't know, but I don't think it's a being that has a free will. I think it's just like an energy.
Yeah, that's what I was asking you before, right? Is it a being? Is it external or is it internal? Those are the questions I was kind of like asking you before, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, what do you mean? Is it something internal, external? Because I do believe in that, the internal part, like that internally. It's like, for example, you can communicate with your soul. You can control it. Not your soul. This thing that I was telling you about. You can control these things by communicating with them. So it's kind of weird in that sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was telling you, oh, now I can justify to myself and say, oh, why I shouldn't throw a fit, even though this and this is happening. You understand with me? So like, I agree with you that you can communicate with this thing, whatever it is. And it's internal for me. It's not external. That's what I was asking before. Do you mean internal or external?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
but I also believe in external spirits.
Yeah, I think there are external spirits. I'm just saying that most of what people experience, I think, can be explained as internal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I understand. Now I understand more your point of view.
Yeah.
That's tied it up nicely.
Yeah, I think because there's so much, and the thing is, like, people think that because I believe it's internal, therefore it's not real. I'm creating it, but I don't believe that. No, I think it's real. It's just,
It's the same way, like, you can't say manifestation doesn't work. It's like saying, or they have like psychological practice, like hypnosis, for example. Like, you can get hypnotized to stop smoking or whatever. Like it works, right? It
works, yeah.
It works. So I'm with you on that one. You can't dismiss that part. It's like part of like rewiring, like yourself. This self that obviously our definitions are a bit different, but the self I'm talking about in that sense, that part of you that kind of drives these negative emotions, you know what I mean? So you can control that part. You can always communicate with it. There's so many techniques of doing that. And the older you get, that's what I've noticed. It's just like, when you're a child, and this kind of ties in nicely to the last episode or the first one, where I was telling you, when you're a child, you tap into these things more. Like you can see this weirdness going on in the world. You can see that, like, maybe it's kind of like you're on acid. Like your filters aren't kind of built up yet, and this filter isn't also built up. So that's why a kid throws a fit in a store, because he still also hasn't developed this part. This part, yeah. The human being is interesting, man.
Yeah,
that's what I would say.
Definitely, and I think like, So, anyways, okay. let's get back on track. So
we always sidetrack.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we did sidetrack or
we should have called this show the sidetrack show. I don't know. No, because we don't, kind of, because it all has to do with spirit. I guess it's just that our definition of spirit is so wide. I think that's maybe it's not a problem, but I think that's it, because like we said, for us, for me, we explained, both of us have a very similar view to the definition of spirit when it comes to the human sense, to soul, and all of that stuff. And then obviously we talked about this external, like ghosts and whatever, and also the internal spirits that we communicate with,
that are real, that are not you. They're not you. And this is what I want to say. I want to say, like,
they are.
Like,
I don't know what they are.
This is what I want to say, okay? Because we're talking about spirits, and spirits are that side of life that science has no idea how to study. Because, like, just think of this. Like, if you have a dream and you wake up, it's gone. That's it.
Yeah.
Who's gonna study it? The only way I can study it is to ask you questions, and even you're just relying on your memory.
Yeah, because you woke up, you forgot. Me, I've woken up, and the dream when I woke up was like, oh damn, and then just like after 30 minutes, like nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I can't even remember. I just know I had an impactful dream, or like the physically, I don't know, demanding dream, but I mean, your memory fades so quickly. But that's very true, that science, in the philosophy of science and in their pursuit of knowledge, because science wasn't made to pursue truth, absolute truth, it's made to pursue knowledge. In their pursuit of knowledge, they have certain epistemological rules, right? And these rules include that they can only ever investigate the natural world. So as soon as something becomes supernatural, science stops.
Yeah, and I think I would go even further than that. I would say that they've defined the terms in such a way that we just automatically excluded this realm of life, which is, to me, completely natural. Like, they use this term supernatural, but really it's natural. I mean, people experience it all the time.
It's natural.
Yeah,
exactly. That's the point, because they're experiencing too. Like, they're experiencing it too. They've seen it. They dream. These scientists, they dream.
Yeah.
These scientists are conscious. Oh, what's a hard problem of consciousness? Oh, yeah, it's so okay. So, you believe in the supernatural? That's the one that triggers me the most. Oh, you believe in supernatural? I'm like, yeah, my dear friend, you don't? Okay, then how do you exist? Explain.
Yeah,
Tell me. Do you have some answers I don't have? Like, how do you believe? Like, what's going on with you? Like, how are you speaking to me? You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's how I see people when they ask me this question. You believe in supernatural?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, we've okay, so we have this thing called science, and science only deals with things that can be seen with the eyes or whatever. It's like, okay, well, why? What's your philosophical reasoning? Like, how do you philosophically justify excluding dreams, for example? Or not even excluding dreams. Like, if I had this experience where I closed my eyes and I saw a demon. Oh, well, that's not real. Okay, what's your philosophical justification for that? Like, what does it mean to be real or not real? Well, only if you see it when your eyes are open, then it's real. It's like, okay, why?
Going back to that point, may I say, okay, as long as something is being experienced, it's real.
Yeah, but this is the thing. This is why I'm mentioning all this. It's because maybe the only way to experience. Wait. Before I say that, let me say this, okay? So, consciousness is an element of life, or the spirit is that element of life that we still don't understand, right?
Yeah.
And so when we say it's internal, people with this kind of materialist mindset, or people who are we're all affected by the materialist mindset because we're born into
obviously.
it.
Yeah.
And so with this materialist mindset, we think.
But also it helps us survive, huh? Don't forget.
Yeah.
In that sense that we don't die.
Of course. But because we're born into this materialist mindset, we think internal equals not real. External equals real. But that's not my view. My viewpoint is that internal, external are both real. They're both experiences.
They're both experiences.
Yeah, and they're both
real.
They're both not made by me.
Yes.
I don't make them happen.
Yeah.
And so just because it's internal is not any less real. That's my point. That's why I brought it up. And so it's possible that the only way to experience these other worlds is internally, not externally. And that's why science can't study this world, because it can only be experienced internally. So I'm just putting out a possibility. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's the same thing. Like, I've always... That'd be one of the coolest things. If you could stream like somebody's vision while they were tripping or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, you get what I mean? Like, tap into their vision and like see what they're seeing. Or just not even while tripping, bro. Just like me being able to see the world in your perspective and really see like do you really see brown how I see brown? Like, that's one of the things I've always wanted to know. Like, you know what I mean?
That's another thing. Like, we can't prove it. Like, I can't prove that we see the same colors.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. That's a big dilemma. But everything's natural, right?
That's the weird thing for me, because like it's almost like we're basically saying, well, I can't study that, therefore it's not real. But who said that nature? This is what Carl Jung says. Who said that nature has to fit within your box? Who said that nature has to be studyable in exactly the way that you want to study it?
Yeah, and that's why I mentioned that with science not actually looking for truth, but rather for knowledge and the best way. That's why they have paradigm shift and everything, right? Because at the end of the day, you can't. It's impossible. You just need it to be able to survive, and it's the best way to survive. Like, looking into the past of mankind, sorry. Yeah, but very interesting. So that takes us to our segment, our little segment.
Yeah.
So I'll hand it over to my co-host, Sai.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
give us the story of the week, Sai.
yeah, the story of the week. Okay, well, now that we've talked like about a lot of stuff about spirits and stuff, I feel like it would have been nicer if I had a story about spirits. Yeah. I have a story.
Well, I could give you one if you want. You know, I'm just
Yeah, we could do that. I have a story about a reincarnation case.
But
if
it
you
is
want to
about
do that.
spirits.
Hmm?
Is it about? It's actually a good one. You know why?
Why?
You know why I feel like this fits? Because we spoke of experience today,
Yeah.
and reincarnation might be a case for somebody who had an experience coming back and still having evidence of this experience. So that proves that experience travels with something, with soul, with consciousness, that maybe memory is outside of the body, that
Yeah.
maybe memory itself is spiritual. Ooh.
Yeah. But another thing is that it could also fit in the category where because I mean, I know you don't believe in reincarnation.
Yeah, obviously.
So it kind of also fits in with that. Like, if this person did in fact remember this experience, where is it coming from, right? It could be internal. Like, there's still that kind of that divide that we made today, where it's like, is it external? Is it like how spirits are they coming from outside, or is it coming from inside? And so if this person is having this experience, where is it coming from, right? If it's not really a reincarnation.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of. I guess let's hear the story first, and then we can talk about the different possibilities, or the different theories I have, at least for reincarnation. And you can maybe say some of the theories you have. All right, let's go to the story side.
All right. Well, I think like I have to read it. Is that okay?
Yeah, I like the way you read.
Okay.
It's better than the way I read, I guess.
Okay. All right. Well, let me do this. All right. So this is from. What university is this? Wait, it says it here, maybe. From the University of, 1 second, sorry. Oh, yes, there you go. University of Virginia. Division of Perceptual Studies. This I purposely looked for like something that came out of university. Because I don't want like some kind of like website that nobody's heard of. It's like, okay, how do we know that this is like a proper study, you know?
Yeah, we'll put the link in the, not in the comments, or we'll put the link in the first comment, so at least there'll be a comment.
Yeah.
We'll put the link somewhere.
In the description.
In the description, Yeah.
Okay, so this is like a case of some kid. Anyway, the guy who did this study is called Jim Tucker, MD. Apparently, I don't know what he has an MD in, but he's an MD. He's apparently like, he worked under this guy called Ian Stevenson. Ian Stevenson wrote a bunch of books about like thousands of cases of what is it called, reincarnation. And then this guy came after him, and he's continuing his work. You know, whether you believe it or not, I'm just like giving you like the backdrop of who these people are.
Yeah, no worries. Like I said, we can get into the theories afterwards.
Yeah. So let me read what this says. Okay, so this is the case from this paper. This paper apparently is from 2016. So James was born on April 10, 1998. As related by his parents, the first noticeable incident in the case occurred in February 2000, when he was 22 months old. That's what, like 2 years almost?
Yeah.
His father took him to the...
From 2 years.
Yeah. His father took him to the Cavanaugh Flight Museum outside of Dallas, as they were living in Texas at the time. James was fascinated by the planes, and in particular by the World War II exhibit. When they left after 3 hours, James had some toy planes, as well as a video called "It's a Kind of Magic" about the Blue Angels, the Navy's flight exhibition team. James loved the video, and he watched it repeatedly for weeks. The trip and the video started or uncovered his love for planes. This passion may have led to some of the knowledge of planes and flying that James often surprised his parents by voicing. The video, however, was clearly not the source of James's information about World War II, since the Blue Angels group was founded in 1946 after the war ended. Okay, so he had this knowledge apparently, but that didn't come from the video or something. Okay, let's keep reading. James and his father made a second trip to the museum later that spring, on Memorial Day weekend. James was again excited throughout his time there, though he grew quiet in the hangar that housed the World War II aircraft. He stood staring and pointing at the planes as if in awe. Within 2 months of the first trip, James developed a habit of saying, "Airplane crash on fire," and slamming his toy planes nose first into the family's coffee table. He repeated this behavior over and over, producing dozens of scratches and dents on the table. James's father traveled a lot, and when James and his mother would see him off at the airport, James would often say, "Daddy, airplane crash on fire." This happened repeatedly, despite his father's admonishments. Around this time, James began having nightmares. His behavior during them seems to have involved only screams at first, but then included words as well. "Airplane crash on fire, little man can't get out." So that was a quote. In their book, James's parents quote him as saying, "Airplane crash, plane on fire, little man can't get out." But in an earlier writing and an earlier interview, they used the shorter quote. James would shout this over and over while thrashing about and kicking his legs up in the air. After a few months of this, he had several conversations with his parents about the dream. Usually as he was preparing to go to sleep. He indicated that they were memories of events from the past. He said his plane had crashed on fire and that it had been shot by the Japanese. 2 weeks after those statements, James said his plane was a Corsair, which was a fighter plane that was developed during World War II, and he talked about flying a Corsair several times. On August 27, 2000, when James was 28 months old, he told his parents he had flown his plane off a boat. When his parents asked him the name of the boat, he said Natoma. After that conversation, his father searched online for the word and eventually discovered a description of the USS Natoma Bay, an escort carrier stationed in the Pacific during World War II. He printed out the information he found, and the footer of the printout includes the date he did. James's parents asked him a number of times for the name of the little man in his dreams. He always responded with only me or James. A few weeks after James gave the word Natoma, his parents asked him if he could remember anyone else who was with the little man. James responded with the name Jack Larson. One day when James was just over 2.5, his father was looking through a book he was planning to give his own father for Christmas, one called The Battle for Iwo Jima, 1945. His father reports that James pointed to a picture showing an aerial view of the base of the island where Mount Suribachi, a dormant volcano, sits, and said, "That's where my plane was shot down." His father said, "What?" And James responded, "My airplane got shot down there, Daddy." Okay. A week after that, James's father talked to a veteran. A week after that, James's father talked to a veteran from Natoma Bay who remembered a pilot named Jack Larson. He said Larson flew off one day and never returned, so no one knew what happened to him. With the ongoing nightmares, James's parents eventually contacted Carol Bowman, who had written a book about children's past life memories. They began a lengthy correspondence. Following Bowman's advice, James's mother started acknowledging to him that the events he was describing had indeed happened to him before, while emphasizing that they were in the past and he was now safe. The nightmares then grew less violent and less frequent. James's parents said that when he became old enough to draw, he drew hundreds of battle scenes involving planes. He signed them James 3. When his parents asked him about this, he said the 3 referred not to his age, but to his being the third James, and he continued to sign his pictures that way even after he turned 4. James may have thought of himself as the third James because James Houston, the pilot, was James Jr. In June of 2002, James's parents were interviewed by ABC News for a segment that was to be part of a program called Strange Mysteries. The program never aired, but since I was also interviewed for it, ABC sent me a copy of the segment. At the time of the interview, Houston had not been identified. Table 1 lists the items that were included in the report and their subsequent comparison to Houston's experiences. They were all correct, or at least partially correct, for Houston. Table 1. Okay, I don't know. Maybe we'll get to that.
We can look at it.
Where is this? Where am I? Okay, there we go. Following the interview, James's father corresponded with an ABC producer about the name Jack Larson. She had a contact at the Center for Naval History who found John M. Larson. Though it was ultimately determined that this man was not the Jack Larson on Natoma Bay, the correspondence between James's father and the producer is useful as documentation that he was indeed searching at the time for a man with that name. 2 months later, James's father wrote a letter to the veteran who had told him that a Jack Larson had served on Natoma Bay. In the letter, he mentions this John M. Larson, again documenting this part of the search. A month after that, James's father attended his first Natoma Bay reunion. He learned that the Jack Larson from Natoma Bay had survived the war. Though he was not at the reunion, he was still alive and James's father soon visited him. He also learned that only one pilot from the ship was lost during the Battle of Iwo Jima, a 21-year-old from Pennsylvania named James M. Houston Jr. After the reunion, James's father turned his focus to Houston, as documented by a posting he made on a website looking for information. He learned that Houston did not actually die on Iwo Jima itself. Instead, as the battle continued after the initial assault, he was one of 8 pilots from the ship who took part in a strike against transport vessels in a harbor or nearby Chichijima, I don't know how to say that, as the Japanese were preparing a buildup of troop replacements and supplies. His plane appears to have crashed exactly as James had described, as detailed in Table 1. The aircraft action report for the day that Houston's plane was shot down includes a chart of the paths each pilot took. Jack Larson, the one name James gave, is shown as the pilot of the plane next to Houston's. As Houston was the only pilot from Natoma Bay killed during the Iwo Jima operation, and as his details closely matched James's statements, his parents concluded that he was the man whose life James had recalled. James's parents said he gave other details as well, but no documentation of them exists that was made before Houston was identified. Well, I mean, I guess that's the story. Do you want to keep reading?
That's the story.
Yeah.
No, that's the story.
Yeah, no need to finish it. I mean, there's still more, but like, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's Fringe. Yeah, that's actually crazy.
Okay, so this is like the table or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, I don't know. What do you think? What's your initial thoughts?
Well, I've heard a few of these stories before. Like, also there's some videos on YouTube of kids that got information from quote unquote past life. My opinion on that. I mean, there's, like I said, there's many possible explanation. Obviously, I would prefer the one that mostly matches what I believe. I would say, for me, we have a belief that there's a thing called a Qareen that follows you your whole life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my theory has always been that this can be explained by that. Like, you die off, and this person, also this Qareen, this companion in the unseen world for your whole life, finds a new person, and they have influence on them. They can give them memories, just like these things can appear in your dreams. They have a certain power there as well. And it kind of, for me, that's one explanation. Another explanation would be reincarnation is maybe real.
I guess for me, what that doesn't explain is why is it that people have like these past life regression therapy stuff, and not only do they have these past life regression therapy, it actually heals them. Like they actually feel better after doing it. Like they actually feel like they got rid of, like some weight that was heavy.
Yeah, because there's a trauma. Like I said, for me, I believe in this unseen world. These things also have experiences. They can experience trauma. They can be this person and fully involved in this person, and you understand what I mean, and died in a way that has affected them. You know what I mean? And that's a way of treating it. I guess that's.
But why would that? Why would you be the one carrying the trauma?
No, you don't carry the trauma. This thing is, you're just a conduit for this thing.
No, but like they're someone who's depressed goes and gets past life regression, and then they feel relieved. They feel like they find meaning in their life again or whatever.
Because they've processed the trauma.
Yeah, their trauma, or like they process the trauma of the entity.
Of the entity. This entity is with you. This entity can latch onto you. This entity can be.
But why?
This entity.
Why would solving his trauma solve your problem?
No, because it's a reaction. It's leading you in this way. It's the same way. Like, for example, if you're always around a depressed person, and this person is only talking about this stuff, and you also are kind of getting in this stuff, are you guys together collectively ever gonna get out of this hole? You get what I mean? It's a relationship. It's just like you can be a conduit for it, and it works out this trauma, and then it leaves you because it's like, okay, I'm good now. Or it could be you and it have to work out this thing together, and then it doesn't disturb you. Like I said, there's many theories, so it could be possible. I'm not saying that this is the answer, yani. Me and you don't know the answer.
No, I definitely don't know the answer. I mean, I can't say that you're wrong.
I don't know the answer. Yani.
This is why I
also say I'm right, Tara. I can't say I'm right. I just want to say that.
This is why I said, like, when we're talking about spirits, we're talking about something that it's hard to, like, how can you prove that it really is a past life experience, and how can you prove that it's not? How can you because it's an experience, right? Experience is something that you can't really see. Nobody can see except the person seeing it.
Seeing it, experiencing it. And that's the thing, like, it doesn't have to be seeing, huh? It can also be in your dreams. It can be, like you said. And another theory could be, for example, you know that thing I told you, like, oh, there's this realm of knowledge that people can tap into. Yeah. Whatever. And maybe it's also that these kids, like I told you, they don't have these filters. This is also something, like, maybe they're tapping into something, like, unknowingly. It's a shared knowledge, and somehow they tapped into somebody's memory. It's like a glitch in the, you know what I mean, in the system.
And, funny enough, I think that's what most spiritual encounters are.
Yeah, it could be, yeah.
Just people tapping into the database, and the database brings them the information.
Something they didn't expect.
Yeah.
I would have made an IT joke, but
I think okay. I mean, this would also take us, like, down a whole rabbit hole. Like, I think personally, I mean, I don't know what happens after we die, obviously, but for me, just personally, I find reincarnation to be the only. Well, reincarnation is a kind of a weird word, because it assumes that there's only one place to reincarnate, and that's, like Earth or something. But, like, it's more like your soul is moving from world to world, from life to life. To me, that's the only afterlife that makes sense to me. Just personally. Like I said, that would be a whole different rabbit hole.
It's a whole rabbit hole we can get into. For me, there are a few things, like I said, I don't know, like, does that mean, is there a fixed amount of souls? Do souls still get created if there's reincarnation, or is it always the same? Like, how does that work if population grows over time? I don't know. I feel like there's so many, like there's kind of like questions that come to my head, Yanni. But I know they say you can become animals and stuff. Another thing is like, I think we spoke about it a bit, but I don't remember what you told me. But this whole idea of becoming a better person, but not having the knowledge of your past life, really. How do you know if you're becoming better or worse? And then how do you know you became a rat because you were bad and now you're not a rat anymore? You're a human being again.
First of all, I guess the assumption there is that you can become an animal. Like, okay, some people do believe that, but not everyone.
Ah, okay. I thought like you were talking about the Hindu, like the Hindu.
No.
You can become.
Yeah, I mean that's the Hindu. I'm not a Hindu.
Yeah, bro. So sorry. No, I'm not trying to conflate. I'm not saying. I thought because the belief comes from there, I assumed you had this type of structure, and I made an ass out of you and me because I assumed.
The reason I think reincarnation is like the most plausible in my personal belief is just I don't see like a finality. Like I don't see how there can be a finality to the process of learning and becoming better. Because we're so finite that we can learn infinitely more, and so the process just, if there is an afterlife, like we have to keep growing, we have to keep learning and becoming better. Like I'm definitely not going to reach my best at the end of this life. There's still more I could learn.
Not even my final form.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously I'm again biased, but for me, there's only so much you can learn. I see a limit to learning stuff as a human being.
Exactly, as a human being.
As a human being.
Yeah.
So, no matter how many times I become a human being, I still can't find all the answers.
Yeah, but you're still assuming that you're only. That's why I said reincarnation is a bad word, because you're not necessarily coming back as a human.
What are you coming? You said not animal, so not human.
Yeah, I mean, you could become a higher being, and then a higher being, and then a higher being. Like there's grades.
So you're okay. So okay. What was the being before this being?
Before a human being?
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea. Like I don't know what the grades are. I don't know what the grades are. I'm just saying that there's a growth. Like there's some entities, even among humans, there are some humans that are smarter than others.
Yes, obviously. Yes.
And so
there's some who are further and
and so you go. Yeah. You can transcend being human. You can become a higher dimensional being, or you can become a lower dimensional being. You could become a higher dimensional being and then de-evolve, go back to being a lower dimension. Like I just feel like the process just this is. I mean, I'm very processy. Like to me, this, I don't see the process coming to an end.
I feel like there's a. I don't know. I don't want to make myself. I don't know. It's like. But we could do a reincarnation episode. I feel like it's a whole
rabbit
bunch
hole
of stuff.
Yeah.
It's a whole rabbit hole. And I think actually this is a good place to end.
Yeah, let's write this down. We're doing an experience episode. We're doing a reincarnation episode.
Reincarnation episode. And guys, if you really want it, remind us in the comments. And we're not gonna watch the episode and figure it.
And we'll do a magic episode.
With a K.
With a K.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. The history of magic.
Yeah.
K.
With a K. Yeah.
Yeah. So let us know if you're enjoying the content. Please subscribe, like, follow us on Fringe Shit Pod on TikTok.
Yeah.
And on YouTube. Yeah.
Subscribe.
And, let us know in the comments about some stories you have, maybe some questions you have, maybe, so we can start our questions of the week segment as well.
Topics, links.
Anything? Yeah. What else, Si?
Yeah, just communicate with us. Tell us what you want. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Tell us what you think. Tell us when we're being stupid. Tell us that we're being stupid.
Yeah.
Your friend shit matters too.
Yeah. Let us know your views, and if you want that shirt, free the Fringe.
Free the Fringe.
Fringe. What was the other one? Ah, damn.
That's a whole lot of Fringe.
That's a whole lot of Fringe. Yeah, nice one. Nice one. Yeah. So if you want to see them, comments.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll definitely need to make another episode on reincarnation. But I feel like we need like one more episode on spirits. There's still so much we could say.
There's still a lot we could say, but I feel like we should stay here for now, and maybe later on in a year or so, when we have more people, we can get more into spirits. Or what do you think?
Yeah. Okay. We'll see. We'll talk about what the next episode will be.
Yeah. All right. We'll need to figure it. Maybe you can help us. Write in the comments what you want the next episode to be about.
Yeah. All right. See you next time.
See you next time.